YouTube, it's your boy FPL man, and I'm back here with a brand new video. Yes, it's your boy FPL man. Hashtag ranked #1 content creator in the world. Come on, vamos! Let's go, boys. Yo, come on, we got our final year review video today. Your boy's going to be covering my Game Week 38 team review, as well as your boy hit 1K subscribers on YouTube. So big shout out to everyone that obviously subscribed and showed love throughout the whole year, as well as securing 1.6K rank in the world, which, as I said, is the #1 ranked amongst content creators, which is a huge achievement, especially doing it content in my first year, as well as performing this well. I did not expect this. So it's not me, guys. It's not me. It's all Allah. So alhamdulillah. So without further ado, boys, let's dive in. So there you have it, boys. Come on. Your boys hashtag #1 content creator in terms of overall rank wise in Fantasy Premier League season 2024-25. Your boys secured 1.6K final game week. And all I gotta say is thank Allah. Alhamdulillah. I'm grateful to be doing content in my first season and to have such a good season. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't want to beat my drum too much here, but guys, come on. Sometimes you just gotta, pat yourself in the back and appreciate the success that you had and be grateful ultimately. I want to give a shout out to all of you guys that obviously showed me love throughout the whole season. My boys Kanji, Roundtable, FPL, aka Stark, Benjay, all the boys on X. Shout out to all of them. Meerkat, obviously Andy Martin as well, the goat himself. Shout out to everyone that's obviously showed love. I mean, look, this is an incredible achievement, guys. Like, can we take a moment? Like, my goodness. Like, alhamdulillah, I did not expect this. Guys, when I started content, like, I didn't really anticipate this level of success. Like, to be able to get 1K subscribers and to have 1,000 rank in the world, just slightly missed out on top 1K, and be amongst #1 content creator, like have the best rank amongst the content creators. But yeah, I'm honestly extremely happy and thankful, as I said. And let's now look at how obviously I got on in Game Week 38, as well as look at my season history, how I started, what was some of the best moments, what were some of the key highlights, and how I managed to get to where I got to, right? So without further ado, let's now move into my Game Week 38 team review. Your boy managed to get a green arrow and end the season with a green and a little bit of a bang, not exactly a big bang, but ultimately 62 points, green arrow of around 100 rank. I was around 1.7 something rank and I got to 1.6, and I've got 62 points. Slightly missed out on top 1K, as I said, 11 points off top 1K. And I think when I look back on my season, I think one of the key decisions that I've obviously, regret, especially not going with Munoz on my free hit 36, which we ended up having 11 points. Funny enough, if I got that decision right, I'd finished inside the 1K, which would have been an incredible feat. But again, still grateful to be the position I'm in, as I said. And look, incredible game week. Shout out to Bowen, goal and an assist. Salah captaincy paid off. I was close to captaining Saka, don't get me wrong, but I had no concrete news on whether Saka would start or not. So he ended up getting benched, and so thankfully I did not captain him. I mean, Arteta is a fraud, man. Like, that guy, you can't never trust him. Saka got benched, Odegaard got benched, all the key assets got benched versus Southampton, which was disappointing. And then you got Vinilson, which was my transfer in. Unfortunately, he also blanked. Biggest fraud. Raya conceding. To be fair, Arsenal did play their B team versus Southampton, so it's a bit of a sticky one. Konate conceding. I mean, I always knew Liverpool's going to concede, to be fair, but it is what it is. Listen, shining light Guardiola with 6 points and 2 bonus points. I'm so glad I picked him on my walk at 30. He's been in a phenomenal pick ever since. And Mbemo, Mr. Consistent. Like, a lot of people were asking me in my deadline stream whether to sell Mbemo or not. I said, what the hell? No, you don't not sell Mbemo. That guy's the most consistent FPL asset we've known. So overall, really, really happy, guys. Just to look at a couple of key things. I'm currently, as I said, 1.6K in the world. My overall points were 2,647. And that's around over 11.5 managers who actually play. And obviously not everyone is active, but that's an incredible feat. Like, I don't know how much I can stress, honestly. Like, I don't know if I will ever get to this kind of level again, but inshallah we do come next season, and maybe we can break my personal record. And just to let you guys know, my best ever finish before was, I think, around 70K, and this is honestly by far the best ever finish. Like, it's insane. Another thing to look at, obviously, squad value. I've made total 40 transfers, and my squad value is around 1.64, which is really good, to be honest. And that does obviously reflect back on the team that I have, the fact that I could afford a bunch of premiums in my team. As I said, boys, I was slightly off. Like, I would say it was just one decision of 1K, and I keep regretting that one move. When I reflect back on it and someone asks me, how did you miss out on 1K? I'll probably say, yes, that decision of free hit 36 not picking Munoz, who ended up getting exactly 11 points. And Ola Aina, who I picked instead of Munoz, got 0 points. So if I just got that one decision right, that's just that one what if will, be on my mind all summer. But again, forget all of that. Super, happy to be where I am. So now let's look at my season history, how I did from game week 1 to up until game week 38. So when you're looking at my season history, guys, as you guys can see from game week 38, obviously I had a green arrow, but unfortunately from game week 36 where I did free hit, I did have red arrow as well as game week 37. And to be honest, if you really look closely, like my downhill actually started from game week 30. Like I was doing really well. If you guys can see from game week 21 onwards, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight green arrows, 8 weeks from game week 21 to 27. Unfortunately, in 28, I had a small red arrow, but game week 29, I picked it up again with a green arrow, which was a blank game week, by the way, which I'll get into, how I managed to get a green arrow without a chip usage in blank game week 29. I'll show you guys the team that I picked. But game week 30 is where I started the downfall, guys, man. I mean, I was around top. I was in game week 27, I was 230 in the world. That's insane. Like, I've never been that close to that rank ever. So 230, how did I go from 230 to freaking 1.7 and 1.6? Like, how did that happen, right? You all started from this bloody wildcard in game week 30 where I picked freaking Gordon instead of Murphy and I picked Clivert who was injured. If I only picked Bowen or freaking Mbimo instead of that bum Clivert, that fat cake, I finished the season maybe at least around top 500, if not 100 in the world. I completely fumbled my wildcard in game week 30, and that single decision led to 1, 2, 3, 4 red arrows. But again, I picked it back up again with the transfers, making amends by taking hits and whatnot around game week 32 as well as game week 33. But again, I fumbled my free hit in 36 because there was no double game week. Like that was the banker. That's the reason why I didn't free hit in 30, 33 or 34. And I ended up losing out on all those points. So hindsight 2020, maybe I should have free hit 33 or 34 instead of saving that free hit where there was no double game week in 36 anyways. Thanks to Villa, by the way, who didn't end up beating Palace. It is what it is. Shocking decision, and we're going to learn from that. But ultimately, guys, there's so many things to highlight. If I show you guys some of the key moments in my season, as you guys can see, one of the key things that stands out is game week 2 where I was actually ranked 16k in the world. Like, that's insane. The fact that, like, Haaland TC, like, versus Ipswich, that literally started my season on a madness. Like, that put me above so many people. It's actually crazy. Like, he got, what, 53 something points? And a lot of people said not to triple captain him versus Ipswich. And I was one of the few that I actually captained him. And that was one of my key highlights of the season. And that really started the season really well. And another thing to highlight is that I actually started the season with Haaland and Salah, both of them. And I was switching captaincy back and forth with them. And I was getting incredible success with the captaincy, which I'll also show you guys within this video while I'm doing my season summary. But as you guys can see, like, my season started really well. Game week 1, 79 points, followed with 180 in game week 2. Oh, goodness gracious. Incredible. 101 points followed up with that, which is incredible. And then obviously you got my chips usage, which, listen, TC was a success somewhat, but the wildcard 6 also was good. However, you've got game week 30 wildcard, bench boost game week 32, and free hit game week 36, which all ended in a freaking red arrow. You cannot write this here. Like, honestly, I've used 3 chips and I've got 3 red arrows. Those were failures. So next season, one thing to take away is use my chips better for sure, because my chip usage success was horrible. And to manage to be able to get 1.6 rank even after a terrible chips usage, I still think is quite good. So yeah, now let's move on to some of the key highlights of the season, which is notable, and you guys will see how I got this rank. So interesting thing that stands out, if you guys can see on the right hand side in game week 2, as I said, Haaland TC, which started my run. And not only that, as I said, both Salah and Haaland were in my team. A lot of people picked between Salah or Haaland, but I went with both. That was the differential. That was the differential, basically. Not many people had those combinations. I also had Isak and I also had Chris Wood. I was early on Chris Wood. I started my game week, from game week 1, I started with Chris Wood, which has been an incredible signing and shining light for my season. And not only that, I also had Smith Rowe. We had a really good start to the season, as well as Robinson. And funny enough, Henderson, I think one of the top 5 goalkeepers, and I started with him, but he didn't have a really good start. But again, overall, the only minus in this team that looks on the right in game week 2, you can see is Nkunku, which was a fraud pick. I think that was a narrative driven. And another thing that stands out, obviously, if you look at my bench, I basically practically had no bench. Like, I had no bench. Like, that was my mindset, because I thought if I want to own the premiums, I got to sacrifice somewhere. I sacrificed my bench, to fund Haaland and Salah. And it worked out for me, luckily, right? My second thing, if you look at game week 24, which was a double game week, by the way, a lot of people use the TC, a lot of people use the different chips. I had my system manager chip active. In that game week specifically, I remember a lot of people sold Chris Wood. For whatever reason, they want to get different strikers in, but they sold him. And that moment, I said, yo, it's Brighton. I don't really rate Brighton defense. And boom, he drops a hat-trick on everyone's forehead. And that was one of the most beautiful thing ever because everyone doubted him, even though he's been scoring goals left, right, and center. And not only that, Nico Williams with a goal and a clean sheet as well. Incredible. Like, you can't make this up. And then you've got Salah, obviously, captaincy, which a lot of people captain anyways. That doesn't mean anything. And then Mateta. Like, that game week was literally insane. Like, Mateta, not many people had because he was going to blank in 29. So I was early on Mateta, like from game week 20 or something, I picked him up. And I picked up every single one of his hole. Mateta's hole, Wood's hole, I've got all of that. Right. I was actually quite early on Lewis Hall as well. A lot of people went differential, like with different like players, like for example, Forest defenders or maybe Palace defenders. I had Lewis freaking Hall, and he was holding every 2 weeks. Like I think in a span of 4 weeks, he had like 50 something odd points. So these are the decisions. Obviously, you have to be lucky and get some fortunate in your favor as well. Like these are the decisions I look back on that I say, yeah, this is what got me where I got to. Like getting Mateta early. Keep getting Wood, to start the season, having him for his big holes at the right time. And yeah, another actually highlight was that fact that I picked up Ahmad quite early as well when a lot of people went Bruno. Look at Ahmad, boys. He picked up a hat-trick versus Southampton when a lot of people actually went for Bruno Fernandes. And he ended up blanking. Incredible. Honestly, just incredible. And on the left-hand side, if you guys can see, Foden. A lot of people didn't trust Foden because of Pep rotation and minutes and whatnot. The minute Saka went injured, right, around game week 19 or whatnot, I tweeted out saying, yeah, this is where the game gets fun now because this is what will dictate like if you're a good manager or not. And a lot of people went with different directions, buying this player, that player, Odegaard, Diaz, X, Y, and Z. I said, nah, this guy's the Premier League player of the season. He's bound to show up this season at one point. And at the right time, I picked him up around game week, I think 17 or 18 when Saka got injured. And then from there, he started to return. It started with 6 points and then 8 points and then 15 and then 21. Incredible signing, right? Incredible. So these are the things that you have to pick up the assets at the right time. And I feel like these are the highlights of my season and I picked these assets at the right time. And that's what, got me where I got to. So extremely feel grateful for that. And on the right-hand side, if you guys see on the blank game week 29, one of the signing of the season for me. Again, a lot of people who went with freaking Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, Chris Wood, X, Y, and Z. And I picked up Belenga versus Ipswich. And he comes over with a freaking 16-point hole. 2 goals versus Ipswich. I think it was like 10% owned. Incredible differential again. Guys, this is what I'm saying. You need a bit of luck as well as obviously your eye test matters. Like I think how I picked up these players, for example, Foden, how I picked up Mateta, how I picked up Elanga. These are eye tests and gut picks, honestly. Like I think if you don't watch the games, it's very difficult to, get the gist of which player to pick up, especially if you have a dilemma between, I don't know, Foden or Doku or KDB or whoever, right? Or if you have a dilemma between Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, which was the biggest dilemma, which was a 50-50 call. But for me, it wasn't 50-50 call. For me, I was 100% sure I was going to get Elanga because of what I watched and how I seen him affect the game, right? He was on set pieces. He was getting more minutes. He was getting into better positions. He had a really good link up with Wood. And a lot of people don't see that because they don't watch the games. So there is incredible value in watching the games. And I give a lot of my thanks to obviously Allah first and foremost. Thank God for the rank that I've had. But I also think that I've been watching a lot of games and I trust my gut as well as my eye test. And this is what I've been saying. My motto is eye test is king. I'm an eye test manager. I don't really look at the data and whatnot. Obviously, usually I look at the data maybe just to basically back up my decision, like which is based on eye test. But then data is just basically a backup. But I don't really make my decision based on data. Like, yes, Rob TFP's data are good, just to get the just off clean sheet and goals odds and whatnot. But ultimately, my decisions are made on eye test. And I'm an eye test manager, guys. Like, as you guys can see, I got my glasses on today because, it's a special occasion. But it's eye test is king, guys. But let's put that glasses back on. Yeah, looking good still. Hey, all right. So yeah, lads. Look, this is an incredible season. Like, I could look back at so many moments and I can highlight them. Another one is a good one is basically when I got rid of Haaland. Like, I've obviously owned both Salah and Haaland, and then Haaland started to stink it up from game week 6. And obviously I was doing really well from game week 6 onwards. And then I had a downhill. Like, I went from like around 2K in the world to 50 something odd K. Like, and then obviously I had to sell him to be able to, regroup and get back to track. As you guys can see, in game week 12, I actually had 35 points. Absolute shocker of a week. And that's when I captained Haaland versus Spurs. And Spurs had no Van der Beek, no Romero. They were literally playing Dragusin at the freaking back. And the guy blanked at home. And that's when I realized this brother has to go. There was no more keeping faith in him. He's a bum. He's a 50 million fraud. And boom, I sell him for Jackson, and then I bring in Saka and I captain him versus West Ham. And that's where my season started to get back on track. Like from game week 8 onwards, it was a shocking season because I was going from 2K to 20K, 30K, 40K, all the way to 60K, I think. And then bang, I sell this fraud. I captain Saka, your boy's back on track. So that's where obviously, started. I'm glad I saw this bomb. But I feel like sometimes, when you trust the player so much or you have a bias towards the player so much or they reward you so much, you end up getting a bit of bias and you stuck with them for too long. And that's the lesson I learned. Like, I think I stuck with Haaland too long. I think a lot of people saw him in game week 9 or 10 and I stayed with him to game week 12, which was a bit of a mistake. And captaining him on top of that, back against Salah when he's been dropping 13, 14 bomb on my forehead. So that was definitely a mistake, which I'll learn and take on board. And funny thing to highlight, your boy was rocking Burgess and Greaves on the bench. My bench for most of the season was shocking, boys. I was rocking with 2 bloody Ipswich defender. Insane. I don't know how I survived. I also think I got fortunate with not getting too many injuries this season. But later on in the season, I started getting a bunch of injuries. But at the beginning of the season, I didn't get too many injuries. So fortunately, I didn't have to use these bombs. But whenever I did actually have to use them, they did fuck all, to be honest. So yeah, let's now look at my captaincy success rate for this season. So as you guys can see, I actually had a really good successful rate this season, almost at 80%, 79% successful picks. I've got 30 out of 38 captaincy picks correct. Guys, like, I'm gonna have to starting Thinking Cap channel, like, aka Thinking Cap 2.0. I'm gonna have to take out Benji out of business. I'm sorry, Benji, my bro. But yeah, getting 30 out of 30 captaincy pick right is actually incredible. 79% success rates. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start patron for this captaincy, bro. What's going on there? What's happening here? That's like, I'm just messing. But yeah, look, like to get 79% success rate is insane. I'm proud of myself for that. Like, a lot of the time, as you guys can see, to start the season, I had Salah and Haaland on rotation from game week 1 to 6. And they were just banging in goals. So like, that's where my season was already popping off. Like, as you guys can see, like I started to 380K, and then you've got obviously 16K, and then I went to 3K, and then 9K. Incredible, honestly, just bang, 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 right? And then come game week 7 and 8, I start backing against Salah. I captain Haaland in game week 7 and 8, and boom, I get punished by Salah. And then come game week 12, I do the same thing again, I get punished. But I was keeping Salah and Haaland on rotation for a while, I'll be honest. And then obviously Saka, I came with Saka and Palmer. They also rewarded me, and then Salah back again on rotation, Salah, Palmer. And one thing you'll see with my captaincy, guys, is a trend, right? I've always captained premium assets the whole season. Guys that are on pens, guys that are 90 minutes, guys that are talismanic, like the likes of Saka, Palmer, Isak, Haaland, and Salah, obviously. Like, these are the guys I've been captaining. Obviously, I captained Marmoush one week. But other than that, like, it's always been talismanic and premium assets. I've not really captained someone that's like a fringe asset, like, say, Elanga or maybe a Semenyo or a freaking Johnson. Like, I've not captained those type of assets because you know that the risk is to reward is too high. Do you know what I mean? Although it's a differential pick, it's punty, but it's not worth it at the way I see it. So I feel like going to next season, if I was to give any advice to someone for captaincy, always look to captain these premium assets because the ratio of you basing game success to, for example, flopping is much more less when you back a premium compared to a fringe asset because there's way more routes to points, like pens, set pieces, freaking open play threat. There's so many routes to points, minutes. So yeah, that's my one advice, guys. Obviously, let me know in the comment section below what was your captaincy rate. I mean, I'll be surprised if I see anyone get more than 32. To be honest, that'll be insane. Like getting 30 out of 38. Yeah, if I can do that next season, I'll be laughing. So yeah, alhamdulillah for that. Let's now look at my mini league success, some of my friends' mini league as well as the 2 Space mini league, and let's see how your boy did. So as you guys can see, your boy first mini league champion is my friends' mini league. Shout out to alhamdulillah the brothers. This is amongst my friends that obviously, we started this league to start the season and, we said, whoever wins, they're going to get a medal and trophy and whatnot. So that's the number 1 mini league that I wanted to win. So alhamdulillah, the brothers, grateful I won that. So shout out to everyone, my boy Jeff, Maino, Kosei, Abdurrahman, all the mandem. So yeah, we take this W. The next one is my favorite is also FPL Twitter Spaces. My boy Kanji, Stark, Benji, all the mandem, Meerkat. Your boy won that as well, FPL Twitter Space. I don't know what they're going to give me, but they better give me something for that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, guys, let's be honest. Like, I want to say one thing. Like, I actually really didn't play for these mini leagues, if I'm being completely honest. My main focus was to obviously get the highest rank possible. Especially when you're doing content, you want to make sure that, you get the highest rank possible to be able to, have some sort of credibility. Although I don't really tend to advertise myself as an FPL expert either. I go based off like entertainment and obviously providing on what I see and the style of my play, which is I watch the games and I give my insight. Like, I don't really know the future, I'm not a fortune teller, and that's why you cannot really claim to be an expert in a game such as this. So yeah, ultimately I give my analysis, and if people, agree with me, they will go with my choices. If not, they'll go with someone else's. let's now move on to the final slide, which is an appreciation post for everyone. So this is a thank you. I know I've already said it, but I want to keep saying it again and again. I can't thank you guys enough. Like, honestly, 1,000 subscribers on my first season of doing content. It is incredible. Thank you guys so much. Honestly, I'm really, really grateful for all the support you guys have been showing on X, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, on all platforms, and especially coming into tune on my deadline streams, as well as showing love on my podcast. I'm also doing a podcast, obviously, shout out to FPL Roundtable. The boys, obviously, as I said, Kanji and Stark and Benji and all the guys there. And look, honestly, thank you again, and continue to show love and support. We'll be bringing you more content next season, inshallah, God willing, and continue to provide you guys with the best content possible and advices. I may perhaps or potentially even consider maybe opening a Discord server where obviously, I can give a bit more one-to-one advice to you. For next season, we've got a lot of content coming out. The podcast, obviously, I'm going to be uploading, continue to, do FPL videos, weekly videos, shorts, as well as doing maybe even considering Champion League content as well next season. So tune in for all that. Continue to, keep on track. I may upload some, maybe the Club World Cup videos, fantasy. I'm not sure. I'll make an announcement soon. But I think it is nice to take a break after obviously doing this for a whole season. It is kind of exhausting, as you guys know. It's not easy making content. You have to spend a lot of time and effort into it, especially when we don't get paid. So make sure to continue to show love to myself, as well as Thinking Cap, my boy Benji, the Roundtable podcast, Meerkat, Andy Martin, all the boys on X. Continue to show us love and your support. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.